Today, we are going to discuss Honorable Supreme Court guidelines for maintenance of lockers. All banks are following some systems and procedures prescribed for maintenance of lockers. There are circulars by respective banks. In 2021, Honorable Supreme Court, while deciding a case titled Amitabh Das Gupta versus United Bank of India in Civil Appeal 3966 of 2010 by order dated 19th of Feb 2021 gave a set of guidelines to be followed by banks while allotting and operating the lockers. These have been summed up. These are around 16 points which have been given by Honorable Supreme Court. So the first point is about maintenance of locker register and locker key register. Every bank should maintain a locker register and locker key register. In banks, it is already there. They are maintaining. Some banks are calling it locker key register. Some banks have given the name key coffer register. But yes, now it is mandatory as per Honorable Supreme Court guidelines that a locker register and locker key register should be maintained. Second point is the locker register shall be consistently updated in case of any change in allotment. Means it is not only required that there should be a register, it should be regularly, consistently updated also whenever there is a change in allotment. Next point is the bank shall notify the original locker holder prior to any changes in the allotment of the locker and give them reasonable opportunity to withdraw the articles deposited by him or her or them if they so wish. Because sometimes there is shifting of branches, sometimes the lockers are in the basement, there is problem of water logging during rainy season. So there is shifting of lockers. So Honorable Supreme Court has given direction that the original locker holder should be intimated uh, priorly to understand that some changes are to be made in the shifting of lockers, or maybe the allotment is given for that earlier there is a locker number, one particular number is there, and thereafter as per bank some issues, they want to change the locker. Maybe the locker key, master locker key, is not has been stolen by somebody, is lost, or some changes are to be made. Means any sort of changes, for any sort of changes, prior intimation is required to be given to the locker holder. Next is bank may consider utilizing appropriate technologies which are meant for creating digital ledger for this purpose, but all due precautions are required to be taken. Next point is the custodian of the bank shall additionally maintain a record of access to the lockers containing details of all the parties who have accessed the lockers and the date and time on which they were opened and closed. Then next point is the bank employees are also obligated to check whether the lockers are properly closed on a regular basis. If the same is not done, the locker must be immediately closed and the locker holder shall be promptly intimated that they may verify any resulting discrepancy in the contents of locker. Means in the evening or afternoon, the custodian is required to check all these things, whether all all the lockers which have been operated during that day, those are properly locked or closed. Next point is the concerned staff shall also check that the keys of the locker are in proper condition. Means many times uh, the keys sometimes due to some accidental reason or something, the key is broken. Master key, one teeth of master key is damaged, due to which all lockers cannot be opened. So for that purpose, that definitely some proper arrangement should be made. And it is the duty of the custodian or concerned staff to check that the keys of the locker are in proper condition. And similarly, the keys of vacant lockers must be checked from time to time. Then, in case the lockers are being operated through an electronic system, the bank shall take reasonable steps to ensure that the system is protected against hacking or any breach of security. Because now the time has come when the technology has taken over all aspects, and the lockers, in case they are being operated through operating this electronic system, definitely all reasonable care should be taken that the system is protected against hacking or any breach of security. Next point is the customer's personal data, including the biometric data, cannot be shared with the third parties without the consent of the customer. So it is very important because secrecy is so important aspect that whenever a bank employee joins the bank, the first day of joining, he or she has to sign a security, just undertaking about security, that they will maintain. They have to take an oath also that they will maintain security of the all information available with them. And this is very important that customers personal data should not be shared with anybody outside, without any outsider, without the consent of the customer. Next point is the bank has the power to break open the locker, but it should be done by following all the instructions and RBI regulations. It is not so that a person has not deposited rent for 1 year, 2 year, or 3 years, and the bank has the right to break it open. No, the bank has to follow all procedures. There is notice one, notice two. Similarly, they have to um, give notice to the person. Side by side, they have to follow all other instructions also, so that any illegal act can be avoided. Because if there is slightest of the illegal act, it amounts to gross deficiency of service on the part of the bank as a service provider. Then next point is due notice in writing should be given to the locker holder at a reasonable time prior to breaking open of locker. Means they should give time also, date also, that it will be broken open on this date. And in case he wants to visit, in case he wants to come, he or she can come. But in case it is required to be broken open, it should be done in presence of authorized officials and independent witnesses after giving due notice to the locker holder. And there is a system of making inventory and everything. The bank must prepare a detailed inventory of any articles found inside the locker after the locker is opened, and make a separate entry in the locker register before returning them to the locker holder. The locker holder's signature should be obtained upon the receipt of such inventory so as to avoid any dispute in the future. And in case of any death of the locker holder, then proper procedure as prescribed by law should be followed. The next point is the bank must undertake proper verification procedures to ensure that no unauthorized party gains access to the locker. In case the locker remains inoperative for a longer period of time, the locker holder cannot be located, then bank shall transfer the contents of the locker to their nominees oblique legal heirs or dispose of the articles in a transparent manner in in accordance with the directions issued by RBI in this regard. Proper care should be taken in disposing of these items, whether these are to be given to the nominees, to the legal heirs, or those are to be disposed of as per legal procedure. The next point is the bank shall also take necessary steps to ensure that the space in which locker facility is located is adequately guarded all the times. This is an important point because in most of the banks, guards are not there. And it is again as per the government guidelines or maybe RBI guidelines, but still, both way, in case all branches are to be guarded, then definitely the banks should provide guard at each or every branch. But by this order of Honorable Supreme Court, uh, it has been directed that banks shall also take necessary steps to ensure that the space in which the locker facility is located is adequately guarded at all the times. Next point is a copy of locker hiring agreement containing the relevant terms and conditions shall be given to the customer at the time of allotment of locker so that they are intimated of their rights and responsibilities. Means there should be a booklet, maybe locker hiring agreement, which contains all terms and conditions. The one set of terms and conditions must be delivered to the customer at the time when the locker is allotted to him or her. And then one point is, last but not the least, the bank cannot contract out of the minimum standard of care with respect to maintaining the safety of the lockers as outlined supra. Means bank has to take standard a minimum standard of care with respect of maintenance of lockers. So these are the guidelines which have been given by the Honorable Supreme Court. Thank you very much. Thanks for listening. Kindly subscribe and share.